There was a man speaking with all the power, the conviction and the sort of passion of a reformed smoker. And I say that, sir, because he is a reformed asset salesman. Everyone knows that this country's assets were put on the block at ridiculously low prices by the Roger Douglas-led government of the 1990s. But what they also know is that the National Party and the National Government and John Key, the Prime Minister, has said there will be no asset sales in this term of the government, and if there is a change in policy, then we'll tell people before we go into a general election, unlike our political opponents who just can't trust themselves to stay away from such a policy. So what you see is, Mr Speaker, Mr Cosgrove practically unable to give a speech. In fact, he wouldn't have a speech if I didn't come to Parliament each day, because that's the only thing he can talk about. But by and large, he's like a man who just wants to get in there and do it, wants to get in there and have a cigarette. He wants to get in there and sell some assets, but he can't. And so he's accusing everybody else of doing exactly what he wants to do. Well, sir, it is a straw man as far as this government is concerned. Couldn't have made it clearer. Could not have made it clearer. And what we do know, sir, is that when John Key says something is going to happen, it happens. When he says something is not going to happen, it does not happen. And, Mr Speaker, I want to now turn to the issue that Mr Cosgrove spoke of about New Zealanders' power prices under the SOE model. Well, sir, I would observe that during the years 2000 right through to 2008, the retail electricity price for New Zealanders rose by 73%, 3 times the rate of inflation. 3 times the rate of inflation. And what we have done over the last short while, sir, that we've been in government, is conduct a proper review of the structure of the electricity market and the way electricity is sold in this country. And then, sir, we've constructed a bill which has been through a select committee and is currently waiting its second reading in the House. And, sir, during that process, we've seen quite a significant change in behaviour from retailers in the electricity sector, with the real price of electricity being just below that of inflation, price rise being just below that of inflation in the term of this government, unlike that rampant 3 times the rate of inflation under the previous Labor government. Mr Speaker, I think it's also worth noting that this government is one that has been concerned about how warm New Zealanders are in their homes and has made a commitment to provide insulation and clean heating for New Zealanders with very substantial grants. The previous government, of course, said, well, we're going to divert SOE profits for that purpose. Well, they talked about it, but never quite got around to doing it. And one other point I'd like to congratulate the Minister of SOEs on is that, particularly in the electricity sector, while prices have been stable, profitability has been high. And one of the things that the Minister has been insistent on is that the performance of the businesses themselves should not be simply measured by how much they can charge their consumers. And one of the things that we're seeing, sir, is that we've got genuine pressure on prices to remain low, while we've got genuine issues or commitment inside the SOEs to increase their performance and thus their profitability. And at the end, that is a revenue stream that all New Zealanders benefit from. Mr Speaker, I worry about Mr Cosgrove and some of his ridiculous claims. It tends to deny the fact that is clear and evident for everyone, that SOEs are performing extremely well at the moment, that SOEs are dynamic organisations, and that SOEs themselves formulate their own planning for how they might move forward in the future. It seems it was okay when Trevor Mallard was SOE Minister for New Zealand Post to enter some very interesting sort of arrangements, for Cordia to engage in some very interesting and quite big loss-making arrangements. But Mr Cosgrove comes into the House and wants to make a case that everything is all doom, gloom, bad and sad because the national government is now overseeing this particular portfolio, this particular suite of investments. Well, Mr Speaker, I think taxpayers and residents of this country should be very, very satisfied with the work of the Minister. They should be satisfied with the progress that the SOEs are making in giving a greater contribution to this country's economy.
question is that the question is that the report of the Commerce Committee on the 2008-9 financial review of Genesis Power be noted. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. No. The ayes have it. Party vote is called for. Party vote is called for. Clerk, please conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
58 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
43 votes opposed.
Green Party.
9 votes opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
5 votes in favour.
Maori Party.
5 votes in favour.
Progressive.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 69, the noes are 53. The motion is agreed to. The next entity I understand members wish to debate is Meridian Energy Limited.